Well, well, well. Yesterday I released a video asking for a source on that screenshot that we had about Cindy Murray in the 8:28 a.m. call, and Kent was nice enough to leave me a response. So to fulfill Ninchi's request, because I think that's where it's got my mind started on this a couple days ago, Kent says it was redacted a couple years ago, and the girls over at ICAS got wind of it first and they talked about it. Kent says maybe even a week ago. So it's been out there. Nonetheless, I appreciate the information, Kent. Thank you. But trying to digest this all in. So what we're really looking at is dispatch verifying with one another that 8 a.m. on Friday the 2nd was the time that Malaya Brooks Murray told dispatch when the kids went missing. Then after that, at 8:28, she called her mom, and it went unanswered. So just keep that in the back of your mind. As well, on top of that, that she told dispatch that Jack and Lily were, quote, possibly autistic and known to wander, insinuating that this is a common thing to them. Priority. Already trying to establish an alibi and place blame onto the victims. But think about all of the time that has passed with them trying to establish on social media a false alibi centered around this meeting with Malaya, where she told Malaya that the kids have just been missing 20 minutes. But the way that it's portrayed to you, it's from the RCMP call right up to that. Right up to that. Within 20 minutes, there's a 20-minute window that they want you to think that the kids had just decided to voluntarily leave the premises and vanish. All of this time, Daniel and Janie have spent establishing a false narrative based around putting blame back on Jack and Lily for even leaving. Never once did they ever reference 8 a.m. Listen, the kids were gone since 8 a.m. They wanted to talk about themselves. It's October 17th, for crying out loud.
That Jack and Lily would have.
That Jack and Lily came out of.
So it's the morning of May 2nd. Take me through what.
It's worth noting that they did a massive cleanup compared to the Friday. That, look at that hole. What a hole. So right away, they're trying to capture the narrative in Janie is because everybody online, nobody was caring about the sounds that the door made. They're just questioning your story, and you guys want to over focus on the door. Who cares about the door? Especially when Jack and Lily are missing. Janie, what's up with living in that trailer, by the way?
So it's the morning of May 2nd. Take me through what happened.
Okay, I was up at 6 o'clock, sat in there and had my tea. And then on Facebook, 7 o'clock, I get up.
See, she gets up and feeds her chickens. This is 6, 7 o'clock. Somebody must have screwed up the timeline. And upon reconvening afterwards, adjusted it. Because all of these inconsistencies about hearing the kids before and after 8:48 when she talks to Ron. Let's listen for a moment. They never want to exactly nail down any specific times that they can verify that this is when the kids left. They just want to appear as though the kids were there. Like they want to appear as though they're caring individuals. They want to appear to be working with police. They want to appear to be not suspects.
Come over here. Fed my chickens. My brother, Ron, called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town with him. And I said no. I said I'm staying home. I said I'm going back to bed. Okay, I went and I laid down. Next thing you know, my dog started barking and the kids were out in the yard. Now you can see there's two swings.
So she's telling you after Ron called at 8:48, she heard the kids in the yard. Uh-oh, but Malaya reported the kids missing at 8 o'clock.
Swings where the kids play. My bedroom is right there. I heard the kids. This is where the kids' swings are. This is where they always played.
It's so nice, Janie, that you guys got that woodpile cleaned up so quickly. Look at the duct tape on the window and the door. Did you just pull that shit right out of the dump? Right out of the trash can? Somebody else was, maybe he took it right off one of his late night break-and-enters when he's all tweaked out. Is that a toilet seat I see hanging there? I wonder what that is. A toilet seat down by the wood. Got some red wood stain on there. That's fresh. When you zoom in on those yellow ropes, it seems that that rope is brand new. Undersized, by the way. Double wrapped, and I would never, ever get on that swing. I'm way too heavy. I'll break that. Those knots aren't near strong enough. And you put duct tape on the end for what? The knot's still going to loosen and fail, son. Keep this boy away from the steeplejack.
And so that's where...
That's where I heard them. And I can hear everything in that trailer. If two kids get out of a fence, and Jack and Lily are all the time yelling, especially Lily, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go, Jackie.
Honey, what is your problem? What point is it you're trying to make? Really trying to establish some sort of mystery without ever linguistically committing to anything. What is it you're trying to tell everybody?
It's all I hear out here. When the kids get out of the fence and come out through here, I would have heard them yelling, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go. I didn't hear anything. The next thing I heard is I heard Daniel yelling. He was yelling for Jack and Lily. I didn't get up because I thought he was yelling for Jack and Lily in the house. So the next thing you know...
You know what is nice about that skid fence that they built? Is that you can just chop it down with your Sawzall, flip it on the ground, and load up all the other garbage and make it a lot easier for the people to pick it up and take that place right to the dump.
House. So the next thing you know, I came out of the trailer after I heard Daniel, about, I'd say, 10 minutes after I heard him, I come out of the trailer. I opened up the door.
What is up with that little statue? We got the CBC coming today. We better put this statue on the top of a kitty litter pail. There's a 3-gallon kitty litter pail right there. Oh, isn't that just lovely? Isn't that just some lovely decorum? It really adds to the place. Now you emptied out your garbage outside and put it on top of a 3-gallon pail. Listen, honey, that place is a dive. But it's okay. Daniel's going to be out here doing this, that, and the other thing for me, making it okay because he's got his old lady and his kids and their pesky kids inside. Oh, it's okay, everybody. I just love being out here in this old RV that doesn't run. I can't even start it up to listen to the radio. It's okay. I'll just scroll here on my Facebook while you guys stay inside and get high. I'll just play some games on my mobile phone. No problem. Maybe I'll go put this statue up near the front bumper. And boy, oh boy, I think it's a statue of the archangel David. It's Satan. That's a fallen angel. It's a Satan statue. Is it true, Janie, that you worship the devil?
Was standing here. Malaya was standing.
Whoa, Durwood. Why in such a hurry, son? Why in such a hurry there, Derpwood? Is that Ron or Derpwood? Probably Ron, because they both have that big old ugly same haunch back. Nasty characters. You see what was on this table? We've got a Red Bull. We've got a bottled water. It's just such a lovely. Let's keep you away from the riffraff. Let's keep you out here where I was going to build the pool and do some raking. That to your left is my fort. Of course, I've lined it in aluminum foil to keep it and repel any sort of radiological waves so they can't read my mind when I'm making and cooking my shake and bake. Or I mean Daniel's. I've got Kleenexes out here. What else is there? Couple bottles of water. Got some rollies. Got some papers. That's Daniel himself at the end of the driveway. I'd recognize that douchebag anywhere. Look, I can see from a few hundred feet away there, Daniel. That's old Danny boy. Here, let's zoom right in. See, there's Danny boy right there. Right above Mom's shoulder. Look at all the work that we stayed up into the wee hours of night doing. Kind of like the night of Thursday, May 1st into the 2nd. Well, no butt shot. Let's see.
Right here. With Meadow.
Right here. With Meadow on her shoulder. What did she say to you?
On her hip. And I come out. And I said, what's up? She said, Jack and Lily are missing. I said, how long? She said, about 20 minutes. I closed the door, got my boots on, came out here, ran up in the woods. Just right up here. The kids have a little fort that they made out of sticks and fir branches. And that's where they go. You can see them and hear them. We went for walks in the woods. I had to practically carry Jack through the woods because there was no way that he was walking through all that tree falls and bushes. I did this whole area. There's an
Janie's
old road
baby
up
talk.
back. When I got up to the top of the hill, I met Daniel. And I said to him, I said, did you find them? He said, no. He said, you coming with me? I said, no. I said, I'm going to search this area.
Well, you guys have really specific recall about specific conversations that you each had with each other in this search. God knows what time frame we're talking about here. What time frame exactly are we talking about here, Shaggy?
Because when she told me the kids were missing, you automatically think they went into the woods. That's your first.
A major avoidance going on throughout this entire interview. So much so that the RCMP, it would be impossible for them to ignore this, by the way.
That was my first instinct. So I went up and I did this whole area, this whole wooded area, right up to the top of the dirt road, came back down here and came back down the side of the road, come back down here and come back out the same spot. I went back into the house by the time the cops were here. I don't know exactly what time. I didn't take my phone. The cops were here.
Honey, 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 take a breath. This entire scenario is based off of what you guys told dispatch, nothing else. How you presented this scenario to dispatch, therefore they had to respond accordingly. And you guys want us to know that you spent all of this time out there searching in the bush that you don't think that they're in the first place. And you don't want to commit linguistically to any sort of theory or even want to talk about what you think happened to Jack and Lily. But somehow your hearts, your magic hearts, think they're alive. Not good enough for the cops, boys. Not good enough for us either. You're lying. You guys searched all over the place, in places that makes no sense. You planted evidence to further justify the reasoning that you were even focusing on the pipeline area in the first place. But you didn't do a good enough job. You didn't do a good enough job making it look like there was actually kids in the area. And Ray and Janie and your rake late at night. Where's the pool? Where's the pool that you're going to put up? Now you're not going to put up a pool? Well, that's weird. You have your little table with your Red Bull and waters on it now with your ashtrays. Good for you. Where does that zipper end on your shirt, by the way, this Temu top? Man. This entire scenario is based around the stories that Malaya, the one story that Malaya told dispatch. And the fact is that they want to sit there and just tell you that they have no idea what really happened. They disappeared. They voluntarily left the trailer and walked into the Netherland. Then they've got people out there wanting to introduce that. Yeah, who was that? Logan McKenzie wanting to talk about, they were probably picked up by now. That's what we're thinking in the background. As though that's even a thing, that the kids were wandering out there during this entire search and some stranger just abducted them while they were probably on the side of the road somewhere without being seen. Highly doubtful. They were probably picked up by now. That's something that you tell a kid. That's something that you tell somebody who's in a position of ignorance, not knowing. Logan, you're a douche. You guys are all in on this. You're all accessories after the fact. And it's just a matter of time before the right pieces of the puzzle come together and they get off their arse holes and put the cuffs on you. 12 to 14 months it took for them to accumulate the evidence against Trezell and Jacqueline. How long is it going to take to accumulate the evidence against old Daniel and Malaya and Janie here?
There was a bench sitting here, or a sawhorse, it's over there, was sitting here. I was sitting on it, bawling my eyes out. I was crying because I blame myself for not getting up that morning to see the kids.
For not getting up that morning at what time exactly? Trying hard to paint yourself to look like a victim, but there's no possible way you can be a victim of anything in this circumstance. And by the way, could have prevented what? In order to be so affected and traumatized by something, what exactly is it that you're traumatized by, and what did happen? What is it you're insinuating here? Or better yet, just talk directly to it and say it. Spit it out there, honey Janie.
Because if I would have got up, this wouldn't have never happened. Okay? That's why I was crying.
We've heard a lot about...
If you would have got up, none of this would have happened. Now, what is this that it is that you're referencing to? What is it? None of this what? We're not filling in the blanks for you. Why don't you commit to something? Are you afraid?
The patio door.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go see that.
Sure.
So this is the patio
This is the patio door
that Jack and Lily would have...
that Jack and Lily came out of.
Oh, so you're for sure that Jack and Lily came out of those doors. I want to dust those for prints, please. And they closed it behind them. She's really sure. And I mean, it's not too hard. If you need to nail down this story, obviously, if the kids were inside, they would have came out of something. But none of us really believe that they were in there to begin with. You guys did something. Not in this time frame. You have to focus on this because there's no other information that you're willing to come forward with, like a solid timeline. Give us hours. Give us minutes.
And so tell us why we've heard about the patio door.
Because everybody's saying on Facebook, on YouTube, on...
Look at that. She's so worried about a bunch of random strangers and what they're saying. Wouldn't you be more focused on Jack and Lily at this point in time, the old witch?
TikTok that the patio door makes a noise, and why they didn't hear the door open. The bedroom is back there, okay?
That far window.
The last window is the bedroom.
So what is it she's trying to establish with the door? Why didn't they hear the door? And you're trying to establish that it makes a noise or it doesn't make a noise? You're not even telling anybody why it's important. You're just turning around and spinning it as though it's supposed to be some solid alibi, when in fact there's no real alibi to any of all of this. We don't believe you, Janie. We don't believe you, honey. You've been through the gauntlet here on social media, through all of the different accounts that just call out your nonsense and bullshit. You didn't even like Lily and Jack.
And so they would have come out this door.
They would have come out this door.
That morning.
Yes.
And then they went and played on the swing set.
Yes.
And that's when you heard them.
That's when I heard them. Right here in this area here. I plan on putting a pool up this year for the kids. You need level ground for a pool. That's what I was doing. I was leveling out the ground to set up a pool.
And this is the Thursday.
This is Thursday.
Nothing to see here. I was leveling ground to set up a pool. That's not in, never going to be put in. Usually you have equipment to go and do that if it's a pool of any size. You're talking about a kiddie pool. You're so full of shit. This is like the same some other guy trying to include some extenuous information, storytelling, an attempt at storytelling.
Thursday.
Right.
Friday, all the investigators, search and rescue and everything. Right around here was where they found the only footprint.
This is where the boot.
This is where I was raking that night. That's where the boot print was found.
Right where I was raking, that boot print was found. That boot print was found right where you were raking. Isn't that interesting there, you nasty old bag? Just one. So what do you make of that? What is it you're saying? Never ever get that information.
In the mud where I was raking.
I thought there was two boot prints.
There was supposed to be a footprint found away up on the pipeline.
Right.
Malaya sent me the picture of it. That's all I know. There was a footprint found.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, the footprint was here. The only one that they can confirm that was Lily and Jack's was right here.
So isn't it bizarre, you old bag, that the house isn't filled with footprints. There's not footprints all over the place, considering that the kids should be outside playing all the time with their boots on, shoes on, without their shoes on. There would be some sort of marks of the kids playing somewhere, and instead you're focusing on some one random rubber boot print, then want to tell everybody that the boots are missing along with the kids. Not a very good cover story, boys.
So it was child size.
Yes, a man, one of the investigators came in here and was measuring it all. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to lie. The reason why I wanted you guys to come here and do the interview here is to show you exactly where everything took place.
She's not here to lie to us, everybody. That's exactly why you're up here. That's why you called and demanded the CBC come out and take a look at your updated, clean home. Oh, it's just so beautiful. It almost seems like a really, really poorly scripted episode of some sort of sitcom that you guys are putting on for us. That's what it seems like. There is one weird vibe coming off of that home. Wade Paris is right.
And just show people that this is what happened. All the stuff that people, all the rumors and accusations about us murdering the kids and burying them on the property, this place has been searched thoroughly.
See what she did there? All these rumors about us unaliving the kids. Yeah. That rumor persists. That's real. That's more than a rumor. There's a lot of evidence to support that at this point in time. You're at least criminally responsible, but we need to know what the RCMP know at this point in time. And a little bit more. Enough to convince a jury of 12. But Janie, honey, there was no real rumor about you burying them on your property. There's so many other choices. And what about all of the trips in that 5-speed that your neighbor reported between the hours of 12 midnight and 5 a.m. in the early hours of May 2nd?
The well has been checked, the septic tank, all the barns were searched. My RV was searched 3 times. The trailer was searched. This whole place was searched. If they want to come back and search again, they're more than welcome.
You've talked about drones.
You're about close to jumping out of your skin right there.
Drones flying over your property. You've
Yes.
talked about cars driving down the road and
Yes.
slowing down. What's that been like?
I'm scared to go out sometimes in my own property. I mostly stay around back here. And if I
She's terrified to go out. She's terrified to go outside because she knows what she's done. She's hiding guilty knowledge of being responsible for wherever the kids have went. Now she's trying to coax us into thinking that it's somehow she's being victimized in all this, be above and beyond Jack and Lily Sullivan being absolutely nowhere to be found, and she's the one who's suffering. You're being victimized by the ongoing search and scrutiny. How dare you, Janie? You're a disgusting human being. And you're showing the world. You're showing the world just the level of bullshit priorities that you're putting on this circumstance. And it doesn't speak to your innocence.
If I do go out front for anything, I usually have my head down because I don't want people to see who I am. That is me myself. It's not because I'm hiding from anybody. I don't like to be on camera. I don't like my picture taken. I'm just a quiet person that just wants to be left alone, and I mind my own business. I'm just a hermit.
Do you feel as if the finger has been pointed towards you and Daniel?
Yes, I do. Because I live on the property. Come on.
Do you think your son had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily?
No, I don't believe Daniel had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily. Our heart don't lie, and my heart is telling me that my kid did not have nothing to do with this, and I had nothing to do with this.
Oh, you do now. You do now, honey. You know, if you'd only stopped at that hard denial, you probably would have made it through okay. Not in the entirety of this, but it's all this illogical, flawed logic that you're applying to everything. Jack and Lily are missing and you don't want to talk about it. That's really what we're hearing. Jack and Lily are missing and all you want to talk about is where you were supposedly standing at any one time. What? That doesn't exactly have to do with anything. It's filler. It's a portrayal of storytelling in all of this. We can see through it. Robert Edwards, comment of the day, speaks, Jack and Lily probably called Earl grumpy, not grampy. He seems like an angry SOB. He says he's a better grandparent than the bio-grandparents. But yet, he distinguishes between Jack and Lily and his own grandkids. So he doesn't consider Jack and Lily his grandkids. Or he would have said his other grandkids. Or Daniel's kids. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're right. It was Daniel that put a stop to Malaya's taking Jack and Lily to visit Belinda because of his jealousy and need to control her. So I wonder just how often Earl took the kids out for walks or to do something fun. Like never. Like that's fun to a kid, not fun to Earl. God knows maybe Earl likes to do some weird things back in his old trailer back in there. He's just like Daniel in the sense that he has to build himself up to look like the good guy. Him being such a good grampy and Daniel being such a good stepfather. What a joke that is. Like, I mean, and it's futile. You can act that way all you want, but it's not getting through. It's not happening. There's a big difference between somebody who carries themselves in a kind, considerate manner, such as Belinda, and another one when you're a suspect in two children's disappearance. I haven't heard that. Brandy and Lindy? I can't see the rest of your name. Brandy. I think Janie has since said that she's put Lily's shirt and coat on the car at the property to use for search dogs, but that makes no sense in your opinion. Again, I think Janie is covering for what happened because she, Janie, helped cover up the crimes. And if M and D go down, Janie will go down too. That's what's keeping them all together. Something happened that's going to tie them all. And the fact that they're in there embellishing, they're going down one way or the other. Now, we don't know what that end is now, but what we do know is that it has everything to do with the people responsible for protecting Jack and Lily in this circumstance. And they're all afraid if one person goes down, they all go down. That would direct an individual's silence to only answer questions that you're being asked by authorities and not further volunteering any information. Don't let that panic you, though. The RCMP recognize the bullshit. Like, it's easy to get worried because they don't have that smoking gun, that ideal scenario that everybody's trained around on how best to prosecute a situation like this. Listen, they have people with an alibi that are covering up for one another, and they're not wavering from their bullshit story. So therefore, the police have to gather and paint a picture about what happened a different way. And it takes a little longer. It's just the nature of the beast. It's better take longer than to have it, to risk losing it in the first place. it being the opportunity to have a successful conviction in court. Interesting statement by Darlene 420. They had that 828 call redacted because it would cause the public to question the family's story. I think you're partially right. It's total BS. It would be nice to know if Cindy saw Lily and Jack on that video call. If she did, you would think she'd see the supposed black eye. If she did not, then maybe the children never made it home at all. We're still questioning it. We're not questioning it because Daniel has a legit story out there. There is no timeline. There is no clear timeline as to what happened Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There's a bullshit timeline that's presented, but the cops went above and beyond that afterwards and had them check their phones for them so that they can start putting some together. Or something together. It's not because Daniel and Malaya were so open. They were open to lying, bullshitting, screwing up the timeline. What does that tell you? It wasn't Daniel that and Malaya that all of a sudden volunteered any new information. This story that they presented about the last moments before they called 911 has already been, from the police's version, told in a different way. And it's not like it's a passing grade every time. It's not, it's like, oh, whoa, that's not right. Here's your arrest. You got to let the information keep coming to you in that sense. They're not getting away with anything. It would be a real concern at this point in time if they were still allowed around children, if they were still seeing their, like Daniel's was still having visitation, they still had Meadow, but none of that is possible at this point in time because of the problems that have arisen around the statements by Daniel and Malaya. They don't want to own any of this. They put the blame all on Jack and Lily, and that's it. And we're supposed to take that and accept that as them being somehow innocent of any wrongdoing and all of this. No, it works the opposite way. You haven't provided enough, therefore you're guilty AF. It's not just in public opinion, but in a court of law. These stories are not going to convince a jury that Daniel's somehow innocent in anything. The evidence speaks towards him harming the children. Of course, there's so many further questions to ask from there, like where the heck are the children? Where did he take the kids? Did he bury them? Did he throw them in the North Cumberland? Throw them in the Atlantic? The Bay of Fundy? An inland lake? How did he dispose of the bodies? These are all questions that the RCMP want to know as well. This I agree with. Well stated. Whoops. If I can find it, there it is. Donna Crostier says, Swiss cheese recollection. Are they all so forgetful? I'm really turned off by both Patty and Cindy. I believe they should have taken the side of Jack and Lily in this circumstance. It's wrong to protect Malaya and Daniel on so many levels. 100%. Certainly not Christians. In the long run, rewarding bad behavior only cripples the instigators, in my opinion. You have a reason to be turned off because they could be, and maybe they are behind the scenes. We don't know, but we're just going off of what's known in the public realm right now. If they are, I'm glad they are. But it bothers me, especially after hearing what Wade and the way that he described it. You think that he would be pounding down the cop's door, but then again, why do we feel the need to know every little detail in that sense? It'd be nice to, but don't think that we're entitled to knowing all of that. I believe Wade when they said that, when he talked about them crying and Cindy crying about the situation. I can sympathize with that. But I can't sympathize with how Malaya is handling these circumstances, because obviously she's not saying anything in fear of being prosecuted. That speaks volumes more so than anything else. Malaya is silent, not because of anything other than to save her own hide. It's not to attempt to get Meadow back. Listen, you're not getting any kids back. And any children that you do have, they're going to come in and scoop right from you right away. Yeah, I know where you're going with that, McKenna. They're talking about they may have dropped the laundry off the grandmothers, and her grandmother actually, Patty, did the laundry for them. And I'll tell you the reasons I don't say that, because the conversation would represent that. Patty would remember doing laundry for them. So I don't like may have and assumed. No, if the language doesn't represent that, then why would I automatically start plugging in things that make it look like Daniel's alibi is then true? No. She didn't say anything about the fucking laundry. The laundry, God knows when the laundry was done. The laundry is a story that's full of Swiss cheese. It's full of holes. It's Swiss cheese in that sense. And I'm not expecting everything. What I'm saying is, who knows what happened? But in the statements themselves, Patty can't remember the last time that she was seen. I'm not even saying that you're insinuating that, but I don't like the possibilities. Like, they may just have dropped the laundry off and went and picked it up. Someone else did it for them. It still doesn't account for how the stories differ so much. Like Daniel and Janie relying on the laundry story, and when you turn around and ask Patty, she can't remember the last time she saw them. And when you go and try to make a timeline through the electronic, their Google locations, there's just one mention of, what was it, the 914 stop by the house to drop off her bank card. No mention of anything else. No mention of laundry until Malaya brings it up as to why the kids weren't in pajamas and they were dressed from their clothes. God knows when they put them on, day before. It's more obscurity equal more problems with their timeline, as in deceptive. Not that, oh boy, we can't figure out a way to make them look guilty. No. They make themselves look guilty. They're not coming with the right timeline. There's problems with it. But you know that. This statement from Malaya is so stupid. It's ridiculous, even though you can go through it and compare it like Ninchi does to what's actually going on. It doesn't represent Malaya's true feelings about a situation that has occurred. No, it's not her words. It's a letter to make, like there's certain ways you write certain letters to make things look a certain way. Like you make a family statement, a proclamation. Hers is just warming up and trying to garner sympathy from a bunch of strangers so that she can milk you out of some sort of money in the future. Because, again, she's been victimized in all of this. She's prioritizing herself over that of Jack and Lily. And she plugs in a bunch of rhetoric. You can generate them up on AI. Grok can do it for you. ChatGPT has plenty of things to do it. I dig this Osprey. Good morning. Timeline completely gone. Brings me back to Lily and Jack either did not return from New Glasgow or something happened to them after last seen on TV. Right. None of these adults can recall what happened Thursday. Right on, Osprey. None of their recollections are consistent with each other. Friday is all fabricated to make it seem like the kids were there on Friday. That's in your opinion. Well, you can drop that pretty soon because that's everybody's opinion. That should be EO, everybody's opinion. Don't you think a black eye would stand out on Lily? If she's saying that because she doesn't want to get involved, does she say it because she didn't report it and could lose her RN license? Did she not see the Lily and Jack? Listen, in regards to this black eye, and that's coming from Daniel talking about the black eye that Lily supposedly received while the kids were at Patty's on Wednesday from a Tonka truck. Believe it or not, he says, that's Danny. Believe it or not, she got a black eye from a Tonka truck on Wednesday while the kids were at Patty's. Well, you think that there would be a mention of that in the paperwork, but it was an after effect, so it's more likely that he's just making it up. Not saying that he is. Maybe she did have one. We'll figure that out when we find the bodies. Osprey, you cracked me up. Sarcasm unlimited. I find it strange that Earl Martell is only now going public. Does he feel that Daniel is not getting sufficient defense and is starting to lose in the online sphere? Anyway, well, it's more like, look, it doesn't look good at all. He needs to speak up on side of Janie and Daniel and all of this. Maybe this is like trauma bonding. Garlock Road, trauma bonding. They're having a family moment. My Danny's a good boy. Just because he's on the shake and bake doesn't mean he's crazy. Yeah, Daphne. No, we get that. 229, her timeline of calling 911 is wrong. Daniel's words before Malaya posted the screenshot. RCMP were told the kids were missing at 8. We get that now. We're trying to absorb the implications from all of that because of how much effort Janie and Daniel have put into really obscuring that timeline, if that's the case, because we would all be wondering what happened at 8, not from the time that they called the RCMP, which was what was really gone with in the paper. They had a hard time getting information at that point in time too. I would have to think they were redacting it because of the level of deception by way of Daniel and Malaya and Janie. Why would you train them to remember all of the work that you've actually done as opposed to their own natural memory? You redact them so that they're so talkative in the public eye, they can fill in and they can tell you the date, the times of when these things happened. Now it makes a lot more sense as to why they avoid that at all costs. Like we just watched in this Janie interview. She doesn't want to tell you an exact time. She's avoiding all of that. She's getting you to fill in the blanks for her under the guise of it all being true. If it was unredacted, she would have something to base her bullshit off of. Think about how each and every one of us, when we start to circle back and think 8 a.m., this is the first we've ever really been talking about the 8 a.m. timeline. That is a big red flag, and it just trumps everything, all bullshit that they have come with. Because it leaves so much time unaccounted for. And, not to mention, it directly contradicts so many statements blanket across everybody's timeline about what they were doing. Drifting in and out of sleep my ass. Kids were outside, BS. You can't even put a time on it. Before or after 8:48. Holy shit. The $24 million question. And Janie dropped the ball. And that's why Janie loves to say how much of a problem she has with the timeline at any one point in time, because it couldn't possibly have happened if she didn't hear it a certain way. She's just a blatant liar. You don't need to hook her up to a bunch of wires to see that. She doesn't even want to answer a question. She sidesteps it, then asks you a question back. Friends, let me know what you think in the comments section below. This is a 50-minute upload, and we'll keep going today. Pumping for a live stream a little bit later on. Keep your eyes out.